Hey, what's going on, peeps? My name is MrRhexx and we're back with some more LorePlay. So, I'm sorry it took forever for me to upload this one. I kind of got a virus, a horrible virus in my computer, so I had to reformat the whole computer, which means I had to erase everything, and got myself a copy of Windows 10, and now I'm rolling it. So, yeah, it took me a while to get my software, my editing software to work, and obviously getting everything installed again, including getting all the passwords, and it was a mess. I'm sorry. We should be back in schedule now. Was there anything else I wanted to say? I think that was it. But yeah, welcome to the Brotherhood Sanctuary. We did explore it a little bit just before. There's just a little bit more that I want to talk about. Mainly the fact that I want you to look at this place. You will notice, if you look closely enough, that this is actual ancient Nordic architecture. If you can see the little runes inscribed into the wall, which is something, I mean, we all know the concept of runes, I believe, actually just straight up come from the Vikings. I studied 3 years in Sweden, and in my travels, I actually found a rune, and they actually called it a runestone, which I thought was hella cool. Like in real life, guys, a fucking runestone. I found in the middle of nowhere, there was this massive, like a monolith, about maybe like from the floor all the way out until here, like this size. Pretty big, and it had runes like this, just kind of like inscribed into the stone, and a bunch of names that there were supposed to be like a list of names that were acceptable in the society back then. I don't know how old the rune was, but it was cool because the indentations, like the little holes, the indentations in the stone were actually painted with some kind of blue thing that they must have had back in the day, so it made it look like it was kind of glowy, like it was glowing blue or something. It was so cool, man. That's like real life, man. That's crazy. But yeah, anyways, back to Sarah. You'll see that it has, this is an ancient Nordic architecture. So this used to be a tomb before, and the Brotherhood kind of took ownership of it. And the reason why that's important is, well, because of the ward wall. You know, people have been wondering, why is there a ward wall in the middle of the sanctuary? Why doesn't anyone make any comments on it, like as if it's normal? You know, it is normal, and it is because they knew that this was a Nordic architecture when they settled in, and that's the reason why this is here in the first place. I know I'm saying because a lot of people were wondering about that, why there was such a thing in the middle of nowhere. I mean, in the middle of the whole place. But I don't know if there's really anything else to talk about. I mean, you can see also the Nordic bookcases and stuff. This is the pet of, I don't believe it's the pet of Babette. I think it's the pet of somebody else. Who is it? I don't remember the name anymore. Is there another kid here? Gabriella. It's not really a kid. But I believe the spider is actually the pet of Gabriella, not of Babette, even though Babette just always sits there. And it's interesting because you can see the body of a person that apparently, I think is Liz, the name of the spider. Apparently, she or he, it or whatever, ate a person. And there's a book. There it is. Can read this. It's kind of funny. Where's one of these ones? Here. My scribing tools are lost, and I have no time for a lengthy entry. Anyway. It's taken weeks, but I finally found it. The Sanctuary of the Dark Brotherhood, one of them anyways, in Skyrim under a forest road. I've been watching them, the assassins, their comings and goings. The fools have no idea they're being observed. My next goal is to somehow make it past the sinister black door into the sanctuary itself. I don't have time to even think about the dangers. The truth must be known. Apparently he was found out, and he was fed into the spider, alive or dead. We don't really know. Just interesting stuff, just a little lair for the spider.
What happened?
You're referring to that blacksmith contract.
I will let them speak to each other. There's nothing else to do here outside of just accepting the quest from Nazir. I don't know if we have already done that. It's been a while. No, speak to Nazir. Can I make that our actual quest? We actually have a lot of topics to talk about today. We'll talk about the Night Mother. We'll talk about the Morag Tong. I know that you guys have been wondering about them for a while now, and of course, just as always, a few questions that I want to answer. That's the snake priest, known to represent Lorcan. Very, very cool. It's kind of odd that they represented him as a snake, because a snake is usually synonymous with betrayal. And the humans didn't believe that Lorcan betrayed the others. It was the elves that believed that. Although maybe the humans don't really want to hide the fact. Again, the mural. Awesome mural. It's really one of the only representations of the Dreadfather that we have in this game. I want to find... Oh, I should just follow the quest marker. I'm really just exploring a little bit.
So you're the newest member of our dwindling, dysfunctional little family. Save the niceties for now. I have no intention of getting invested in someone who may be dead tomorrow. If you're still breathing in a few weeks, I'm sure we'll be the best of friends. Did she now? Well, as it turns out, there are a few lingering contracts we haven't had the chance to complete just yet. And more, dribbling in from time to time. I'll assign them to you as they become available, to be completed at your leisure. It is. These aren't particularly glamorous assassinations, I'll be honest. Don't pay much either. But they'll keep you busy. Just do them as you're able. There's no real time limit. The targets aren't going anywhere. You can turn each one in as it's completed, or wait and turn in the whole group when all the targets have been eliminated. Whichever works for you. You've got people to kill, my friend. Best get to it.
Now, the way I understand this to work is that you don't actually have to finish the contracts. I believe all you have to do is get the contracts from Nazir, leave, and then come back in, and the next stage of the quest line will trigger, which will have Cicero and all the chaos that ensues upon that. We will do the quest anyways, because killing people is always fun. Plus, it'll give us some training into sneaking, hopefully. Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. And there we go. So, oh, the one thing that I wanted to tell you guys in the beginning of the episode that I forgot is that, as I said, I reformatted the computer, so everything was erased, including my settings. So, it'll take me at least one video for me to kind of get back to the groove of how the settings were before. You know, as far as the music of the game, the sound of the game, the sound of the characters, the brightness of the game, everything really. Just keep in mind that, you know, like if I sound really low or if I sound really high or whatever, you know, I'll try. Just let me know in the comments and I'll fix it for the next episode. But I need at least one episode to kind of get that that feedback from you guys. And as you can see, I don't really have my mods anymore. Let's just do the, oh, I didn't, oh, shoot, I just talked to him, I didn't get them. Alright, I'm a dumb dummy. You will notice that I don't have the mods, though, the blood mod, the map mod, which oh my god, and the other one is, my game might actually go above 60 frames per second, which might actually screw over the game. You will notice what I'm talking about if it happens. The game glitches out like crazy.
So, well then, let's get started. I've got 3 available right now. Your targets are the beggar Narfi, an ex-miller named Enodius Papias, and Baytild, a mine boss. When you've completed all those, we'll see if I might have some more.
There we go. I was a dumb dummy. So we got yeah, we got the 3 quests. So we'll just focus on one first. Which one is the easiest one here? Probably I think these 2 are, oh no, this one is the hardest, Baytild. Alright, we'll do Papias. First though, let me just go ahead and fix the subtitles because I know there's bound to be people that are gonna ask for them. Oh shoot, okay, yes, you see, like the settings are all erased, gotta fix that. And where the hell is the subtitles? Display. There we go, dialogue, general, done. Alright, sorry about that. Anyways, let's talk about some of the topics for today. The Night Mother and the Morag Tong. pretty much some of the most important members of the Brotherhood. Interestingly enough, you might find out that the Mother did not actually start in the Brotherhood, but in the Thieves Guild, but we'll get to that now. The problem with the Night Mother, guys, is that there is no easy way to describe her life, and the reason for that is we have a lot of different books that actually tells us a lot about the Night Mother. The problem is that all of these books actually have conflicting information about the Mother, and that is the biggest issue here. See, one thing is to not have any information at all for a person, you know, like, oh, who the hell is this guy? I don't know, nobody tells us anything, right? That's one thing. The other thing is to actually have a bunch of books that tells you different things, and that's the problem with the Night Mother. Some books tells us that she's a Redguard, some others tells us that, or allude to her being a Nord, because they tell us like, oh yeah, she's pale white, white hair, blue eyes, you know, like, it makes you believe that she is in fact a Nord, and then some other books just swear at her being a Dumner. It's a problem, right? Let me just go ahead and bounce over here. And that's the biggest issue with the Night Mother, that everyone believes something different. Some books tells us that she was actually part of the Morag Tong and then left the Morag Tong because she wanted to kill people other than, you know, politicians. And that's what she created, the Brotherhood. Some other reports claim that she was part of the Thieves Guild and she left because she wanted to kill people instead of just stealing from them. Some others claim that she was born in the First Era. Some of them say that she was from the Second Era. It's crazy. You know, some people even claim that she's the lucky old lady because there are certain similarities to, you know, a lot of her stories and the stories that are attributed to the lucky old lady, and that's one of the issues here. All right, sorry about that. Had to fix some settings. It's a lot of issues, man, that I'm having, but oh boy, Jesus, Spectral Wolf just died. Yeah, let's stay out of Imperial business, at least for a little bit. We'll deal with them later. So, yeah. So what I should probably do is just talk about the most likely scenario, but that's really all it is. The most likely scenario as far as the Night Mother is concerned, because everything is just super, one story opposes the other, they're all contradictory, and I mean, they all seem fairly believable, which is the issue. The one thing that I can tell you for shizzle is that the Night Mother has nothing to do with the Lucky Lady. The only reason that they're even mentioned in the same sentence is because the tomb of the Night Mother was, for the longest time, below the Lucky Lady statue. That is really the only reason why people would even confuse the two, but the two stories have nothing to do with each other, and as I said before, Lucky Lady lived in the First Era, while every other record states that the Night Mother lived in the Second Era, which is a big deal. The Lucky Lady is also supposed to be a really good girl, an honest girl that tells no lies, that became rich because she married a prince. That has nothing to do with the Night Mother, so just from the get-go, no. Just straight up no.
Why are you here? Get away from me! What? What do you mean? Oh, no, no!
Sometimes you can make them attack you when you threaten them, which makes it easier to kill them, because if they attack you first, you can legally attack them and kill them without receiving any bounty or attracting any guards or, you know, doing things the Morag Tong way, I suppose, and I'll explain that joke in a bit. It's very similar to how I used to do things back in Morrowind times. Whenever you had to kill a person in Morrowind, the guards are very, very powerful in that game, so you really don't want to mess around with them. You would always, there was always an option to almost like threaten people to attack you first, and if they did that, then you could kill them without really any repercussion. It's the way of doing things over there. My game is not running very well, though. I'm sorry, guys. I'll try and fix it for the next episode. I'm still trying to get my shit together here. Want to get this episode as soon as possible for you guys. But it's running at 50 to 45 frames per second, which is kind of still stutters here and there. It's kind of lame, to be honest. But yeah, so the Lucky Old Lady, nothing to do with the Night Mother. The fact that she's a Redguard is also very much not true, probably, like most likely, because it just makes no sense. The only reason that some people claim that is because some books say that she was seen back in the day caressing her son, which was a Redguard, But the problem is that, and this is the other reason why finding who the right Night Mother is because the leader of the Morag Tong has always been traditionally being called the Night Mother. So there could be a bunch of Night Mothers that are not necessarily tied to the Night Mother that is the one from the Dark Brotherhood, and that's one of the biggest problems, right? That a lot of these books could be actually referring to people that are not this person. They could all be true. It's just not the same person that we want to know about, right? That's the issue. And, you know, just because she was caressing the baby, a baby that is Redguard, doesn't mean that she was indeed Redguard, but that she was, maybe that she had a relation with a Redguard male, you know? So that's another theory that could probably be easily refuted. But it's just a mess, guys. Like, I'm sorry. All I can tell you is that the most likely scenario is a story that I'll tell you in just a bit. Let me just go ahead and find a way to kill him. Actually, quick save. See if I can find a way to have him attack me.
Who are you? What do you want?
Let's try this one.
Oh no, please, please! I never harmed no one. Old Larpy just wants to be left alone.
I think one of those has a better chance of forcing him to attack you, but this way he's gonna probably run away from the city, which is what I want.
No more! I yield! I yield!
Killing the girl in Dawnstar, though, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that because it's always an issue.
Enough!
No. Starting into the city again. There are ways, though, like you can enrage him with, like, magic, illusion magic, and force him to attack you first, and things like that. Especially if you have quiet casting. Did it work? No. No, it didn't work. We got some visitors. It's 1,000 gold. How much gold do I have? It's a lot of gold, man. That is a lot of gold. Well then. The price that I pay, at least I'm gonna get 500 back from the quest, but oh, this is leveling up my skill. So the story that I'm gonna tell you is the most likely, but it's still, you know, grain of salt here, boys. Grain of salt. The Night Mother used to be a member of the Thieves Guild, and we're talking about the Thieves Guild when it was first starting, like way back in the Second Era when it was first starting. The Morag Tong at this point had already existed for a while back. It wasn't new at all. The Thieves Guild was the newer of the two, and she was just a member of this guild. And in fact, she was a good member of the guild. The thing is, she thought that it would be easier to just straight up kill people and then steal their possessions, rather than just, you know, do the whole process of sneaking around them to avoid being seen. She thought that it was just too much trouble, that it wasn't worth it. You could just kill the people and just steal from them, that it was just easier. The leaders at the time of the Thieves Guild thought that it would be bad for business. Because you have to understand that the Thieves Guild is an actual legitimate business. They are, for all terms and purposes, an organization. Like when you talk about businesses, you talk about, like, you know, businesses that pay taxes to the government, businesses that follow rules and are actually not fully, like, they're not illegal in the sense that I don't think a government can straight up just go and say, alright guys, we're cracking down on the Thieves Guild, let's just go and kill them. That doesn't happen because there is a sense of legality to the things that they do. And the leaders claim that it would be bad for business. It would be bad for the guild overall if they started killing people because it is not sanctioned by the laws, right? So what the Night Mother wanted to do was not what was allowed at the time. At the time, the Morag Tong was allowed to do those killings, but we'll talk about those later. So what she did is she opened her own organization that would kill people. An organization that would be completely illegal and would do everything from the shadows. Her calling, her, I guess, signature back in the day was that whenever she would kill a person, she would leave 2 stones pushed into their eye sockets of the victim that was killed. One stone would be white and another one would be black. And actually the reason why we know, or what we assume, that this story that I just told you is real is because the person who wrote the book where this story is in was actually killed in this manner. The person wrote the book, published it, and then he was killed by a person that we assume is the Night Mother, because when he was killed, he had the 2 stones crushed into his eye sockets. So it is safe to assume probably that what he wrote was true, and the Night Mother punished him for revealing the truth. Something that has never happened with any of the other books. So there's a reason right there to believe that this might actually be the... Oh, okay. Aha! It's hard there. I need to get more potions. I'm gonna start using some of those. We know that there was a lot of dealings with the, there were dealings with the Morag Tong and the Thieves Guild and so on and so forth, and even after... Oh, nice. Oh boy, hold on. I think he can hit me from here. But that's the Inception story, you know, she just wanted to kill people, really, you know, because it would be easier to get money that way, so it was still... this guy's not very bright, it seems like. She still wanted to make money. She just thought it would be a lot easier if she could just kill people. And that's where, you know, the whole thing happened. After that, the Morag Tong kind of took a major blow when they killed the potentate of the Empire, which kind of made the Morag Tong illegal everywhere outside of Morrowind, which made it so that every person who worked outside of Morrowind had to, well, was suddenly illegal. So if they wanted to continue killing, which was something that they loved to do, they would have to move to the Brotherhood, which was actually the only active organization that would allow killing. So that's why the Brotherhood became suddenly really big, because every single member of the Morag Tong suddenly went into the Brotherhood, which gave the Night Mother a lot of power, and that's where everything started, right? And that's why they have such a broad, open, organization just everywhere in every single province. But let's talk about the Morag Tong, because they're very closely related. Now, the Morag Tong, the reason they exist is because of Mephala. See, Mephala has a lot of connection with the Chimmer and the Dark Elves, more so than you might believe. You see, the whole reason that the Chimmer exists in the first place is because of Mephala. I don't think I can kill this guy. I was having issues killing one before for the Civil War video, because I was recording for the Civil War video and I had to kill one of these guys, and I had a lot of issues. A lot of issues. These guys are hardcore. Let's keep on summoning things. I want to raise my conjuration levels. Well, a lot of people have been asking me why I use one bound weapon and one real weapon. I just think it looks cool. I don't know. My own insignia. Yeah, this guy's gonna be a mess. I think he can one-shot me though with one combo attack. But you see, the civilization of the High Elves in the Somerset Isles was becoming extremely decadent. You know, these are people that were abusing magic, were becoming kind of like the Blood Elves in World of Warcraft. Like, they were using magic for literally everything. Instead of like sweeping the floors, they were just like create magical brooms that would like sweep by themselves, you know. Like, instead of walking from one place to another, they would just teleport. Like, the whole civilization was becoming magically decadent, abusing magic at every turn, something that Mephala thought was wrong. So what Mephala did was she transformed herself to look like Trinimac, who was pretty much the warrior god champion of the elves at the time. He was like the Hercules of then, just a warrior, like, awesome person. So she transformed herself to look like Trinimac, and then she convinced a bunch of elves to leave the Somerset Isles to make their own civilization that wouldn't be as decadent, that would be more strict and bound by more rules, and would be, you know, I don't know. That's what she wanted. So she took a bunch of people, and she was very, very powerful. We're talking about a Daedric god that completely destroyed Trinimac. Trinimac, when he realized that Mephala was doing this, he went to look for them, and Mephala cursed him into what he is now, which is the Orc god, right? And every single person that didn't go with Mephala, that was following Trinimac still, and battled against Mephala and her tribe of Chimmer, were cursed into the Orcs. So there's I mean, just based on that story, you might understand why the Dark Elves are so in love with Daedric gods, why they venerate gods like Mephala so much. I mean, she literally was the reason why they have their own land and why they are who they are. It's because of Mephala. The Morag Tong was actually formed as a religious organization to adore Mephala. And you know that Mephala, she's the goddess of, I believe, is plots. Let me just go ahead and kill this person before we continue. We're gonna have to find a way to do this. I'm just gonna quick save.
I'm really not in the mood. State your business or take your leave. What? Well, we'll see about that now, won't we? Never should have come here.
So I think if I let her hit me first, everything should be okay. Which is a mistake a lot of people make, including myself a lot of times in the past. Let's play videos and streams where I just kind of try and get her when she's sleeping. You know, to try and kill her in the shadows. You can just do this. Force her to attack you and it's a lot easier. Hell of a lot easier. There we go. Easy peasy. Sword squeezy, man. That's how you do it. I can level up. Let's go ahead and get some more health. Conjuration. How are things over here? Tromancy. I don't have to get that at all. Let's get some more damage. If I can. There you go. Awesome. Let's go all the way back now. Might have to do a little bit of walking, but that's alright. Let's walk from Falkreath. I still have a lot to talk about, man. This topic is long. So where was I? Morag Tong. So yeah.
Did you see a dog?
No, I haven't seen a dog. We'll do that later.
Till next time.
What's
the reason the Morag Tong started in the first place was because, you see, in the world of Morrowind back in the day, imagine it like cartels. And imagine like there being multiple cartels. If one cartel, like a Mexican cartel or like a Colombian cartel, if one of those enters into a war with another cartel, a lot of people are gonna die, right? Like, usually wars like those have a lot of casualties that are secondary, that have nothing to do with the conflict, you know, civilians. That was what the Morag Tong wanted to avoid. They thought that, hey, look, if we could just get, like, if a person have an issue with another person, and they would just come into the Morag Tong, pay the bill, and then have the Morag Tong assassinate the other person, then war could be avoided, right? So the Morag Tong, funnily and ironically enough, was created to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. If a person had an issue with another, you could just go to the Morag Tong, pay them out, and they would kill the other person and avoid any kind of major conflict. And that was like the whole premise of the Morag Tong, and it actually was legal. This is a process that was sanctioned by the government, so much so in fact that whenever someone would pay off a member of the Morag Tong to assassinate another person, a right of, I think they called it a right of execution was made. This right, this writ, it's like a paper, this writ, I don't know how you pronounce that, right, writ, I don't know, but this writ was so, like, powerful that if you literally kill a person, right, and a policeman saw you literally in front of him kill this person, all you would have to do is show him the writ of execution. And the writ of execution would say that you are legally allowed to kill this other person, and the police wouldn't be able to stop you. It would be like, it would literally absolve you of every punishment that would happen if you were to normally kill a person. Like, it was legal, guys. Killing people through the Morag Tong was legal in the world. That is insane. They normally would kill just normal people. They wouldn't kill, like, you know, like high value targets of like emperors or anything like that. It was all political. Anyways, let's go ahead and listen to what Cicero has to say. I believe he should be here now.
But the Night Mother is mother to all. It is her voice we follow, her will. Would you dare risk disobedience? And surely punishment?
Keep talking, little man, and we'll see who gets punished.
Oh, be quiet, you great lumbering lapdog. The man has had a long journey. You can at least be civil. Mr. Cicero, I, for one, am delighted you and the Night Mother have arrived. Your presence here signals a welcome return to tradition.
Oh, Oh, what a kind and wise wizard you are. Sure to earn Our Lady's favor.
You and the Night Mother are of course welcome here, Cicero. And you will be afforded the respect deserving of your position as keeper. Understood, husband?
Nah.
Oh, yes, yes, yes! Thank you, thank you, thank you.
But make no mistake, I am the leader of this sanctuary. My word is law. Are we clear on that point?
Oh, yes, mistress. Perfectly. You're the boss.
Ah, there you are. Good. I was done speaking with that muttering fool anyway. We've got some business to discuss. I do indeed. You must go to the city of Markarth and speak with the apothecary's assistant. You'll probably find her in the Hag's Cure when the shop is open. The girl's been running her mouth. Wants an ex-lover killed. She's apparently performed the Black Sacrament. Her name is Muiri. I need you to talk to her, set up the contract, and carry it out. Just do whatever the contact wishes. Be professional, represent us well, and get the job done. Since it's your first contract, I'll let you keep whatever Muiri pays. She'll be generous, I'm sure. They always are.
And there you go, we get Cicero. Common misconception. Cicero wasn't always crazy. He was given the craziness by the Night Mother. It was a gift by the Night Mother because the prospect of keeping a decaying body safe, because you have to understand, Cicero has to clean this body, has to oil up the body with nutrients and shit to keep the body from decaying further, the smell, all of that. Like, Cicero has to clean this body from butt to face. It's a task that it's mentally taxing and disgusting, and the fact that Cicero wanted to be a listener but he never could made him kind of angry, and to reward Cicero for his loyal service, the Night Mother actually gave him the craziness to kind of help him cope with the fact that he had to do this job. It's very interesting stuff. Let's go ahead and, before I continue the story, let's go ahead and give the contracts to Nazir.
So, congratulations. You slaughtered an emaciated beggar in cold blood. You are truly an opponent to be feared. Here's your payment. You've got people to... How went your... Good. And I hope you were careful in that lumber mill. Those splinters and rusty nails can be quite nasty. Your payment for a job well done. Still here? Of course she is. I hear the mining business is extremely cutthroat. And those hours, the murder. I could do this all day. Here's your payment. Good luck. And try not to get yourself killed.
Our next main quest contract will take us into Markarth, and I believe we haven't discovered Markarth yet, which means that we're gonna have to walk there, because that's a thing I do. I do not take carriages, that's not where I wanted to be. So it'll give us some time to talk a little bit more about the story of the Morag Tong, which is awesome. I don't know how much there is to talk about it anymore, but we still have a couple of questions that I want to cover before we finish this episode. We will not actually complete the Muiri's quest line. We will do that on the next one, but the walking will probably take a little bit of time. Anyways, yeah, the Morag Tong was actually legal. Like, this is crazy to believe. They wouldn't only kill, like, you know, like small people, like small fries. They wouldn't really kill, like, emperors or people with real money or real power back then. They used to keep it kind of, like, on the down low. The problem was the people of the Morag... Oh, boy. Yeah. The people of the Morag Tong started believing that the more people they would kill, the stronger Mephala would become, which obviously kind of empowered them to, well, kill more people, which is what they wanted to do. I'm just going to go ahead and set up a little quest marker over here so that I know where to go. Wait, yes, let's do that. The problem was, and the problem that created, well, the issues, was that they were under this, I don't know if it's a misconception, I don't know if it's true or not, but the fact of the matter is, they believed that the stronger the person that they would kill, the stronger Mephala would become. And because of that little factoid, they started trying to kill the more powerful people that they could get in contact with. Any single contract that they could get after that would make them kill famous, powerful, rich people, they would accept in hopes that their god Mephala would become stronger and stronger. This dragon is just not gonna leave me alive. See if I can at least heal myself a little bit. Alright, she's a little busy over there. That's good for us. Let's just get away or something. Now, killing normal rich people, normal powerful people is one thing. The problem of the Morag Tong is that they actually went against an emperor. Against I don't remember the name of this potentate. What's a potentate? A potentate is an emperor that is not part of a dynasty. So when a big dynasty ends, you got a couple of emperors that are not really, these guys are not the big deal. They're just normal emperors. Their sons don't necessarily become emperors as well, right? It's not a dynasty. Those are called potentates, and usually happens when a big dynasty usually ends. So, for example, at the end of Oblivion, when Martin Septim dies, a potentate is actually chosen to lead the empire, while a new dynasty is being formed. So that's what you call a potentate in this game. Now, there was a potentate at the time ruling the empire. Someone that was actually a Tasky, and this is probably something that mind blows a lot of people, because you guys are very, very curious about, Akavir stuff, like what's happening over in Akavir, the snake people, the monkey people, like the tiger people, like what's up with those guys? Well, one of the serpentine humanoids was actually ruling over the empire at the time. He was a Tasky, and he was the potentate of the empire. You might be wondering, why was a freaking Tasky ruling over the empire? Well, this Tasky person was actually... I'm gonna die here. These guys are very powerful in Legendary. Look at that. Might not seem that bad. Do take into consideration that this guy's combo, sometimes they swipe you twice in a row, and if every single one of those swipes hits me for half my HP, then, well, you can imagine how one can easily die like that. Oh, nice. This Tasky was the primary and highest advisor to Redman Cyrodiil. I think the third. Don't quote me on that, but he was an esteemed and high-ranking advisor to the Emperor, and when the Emperor was killed, the legacy was done. There were no sons to continue the dynasty, so they had to choose an emperor. And I mean, this Tasky advisor had technically been ruling for a while, because an advisor knows everything. An advisor is literally advising the emperor on every decision that he makes. So of course he knows what's going on. He knows how the empire works. He knows how to do it. So they chose him to rule the empire, and he ruled the empire for like 200 years. Until he was assassinated by the Morag Tong. And that's when shit broke down. When that happened, the Morag Tong became illegal everywhere outside of Morrowind. At the time, it was already tradition in Morrowind, so they didn't make it illegal over there, but... Oh boy, a glitch. The game is not running very well for me, guys. Give me one episode. I'll try and fix it for the next one. I'm sorry if the game doesn't look as good as it used to. I'll try and make it better. But yeah, so... The Morag Tong became illegal everywhere outside of Morrowind, and that's when a lot of people kind of went into the Brotherhood. A lot of the Morag Tong members outside of Morrowind, I guess, flew all the way to the Brotherhood for Sanctuary. Oh, these guys are gonna wreck me.
It's nothing.
There you go. Let's get. I just want to go to Markarth, to be honest. But it's funny because there's actually a law in the Empire that says that if you are part of an organization like a guild, there are certain rules you have to abide by, right? One of these rules is the fact that you have to have the word guild in the title of your group. That's why you have things like the Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, the Thieves Guild. You know, they have the word guild written in them because it is by law a necessity. You must have the word guild written in there. And it's funny because in Dumnir language, in Dark Elf language, Morag means forester. Tong means guild. So the word guild is already in there. But because of the law, they're forced to be called Morag Tong Guild, which obviously translates into Forester's Guild, which I think is kind of funny. But that's why they all have that word guild written in them, if you didn't know that. It's kind of a cool little factoid, I suppose. The game is running like garbage, I'm sorry. It bothers me the most, probably. I'm sure a lot of you don't even care. It does bother me, though. Ugh. 45 frames per second. Ugh. PC Master Race. But yeah, it's interesting because like the legality of the whole business of killing people is it's so crazy. If a person that was part of the Morag Tong would actually kill a person and not completely submit himself to the authorities to be absolved of the crime, you know, they would consider that a crime in itself. Like, no, if you kill a person, you have to go to the authorities to make sure that that all the paperwork is being done correctly, you know? And if you don't do that, the Morag Tong itself considers you a criminal, and it was actually a policy of the Morag Tong to not harbor criminals. Like, they did not want to be associated with criminals at all. Like, it's a very legit business. It's crazy. Crazy. But yeah, the Morag Tong has always been a rival and an enemy of the Brotherhood since time immemorial, I suppose. Because, you know, obviously if you want to kill somebody and you have the money to pay for it, when you have another business that does the same thing, you know, it takes business away from you. Want to avoid that as much as possible. So they've been rivals ever since. So every now and again, when a Morag Tong contract leaves Morrowind in hopes that it would make it illegal for them to be killed, sometimes you find members of the Morag Tong looking for these people outside of Morrowind, and when that happens, it actually happened in Oblivion. There's a quest in Oblivion where a member of the Morag Tong gets caught outside of Morrowind by the Dark Brotherhood, and when that happens, the Morag Tong members gets tortured, questioned, and then executed, because you know, they're rivals, or they're like different cartels, pretty much. What is this guy doing? All right. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else really. The Morag Tong at this point, as of Elder Scrolls Skyrim, as of the 4th era, year 200, and I think as of the year 201 of the 4th era, the Morag Tong is most probably dissolved. The eruption of the Red Mountain caused a lot of shit to be destroyed in Morrowind. A lot of immigrants from Morrowind to immigrate all over the continent of Tamriel. I can't even speak, man. I'm sorry. But the Morag Tong allegedly is been dissolved. There's a member in the Thieves Guild. If you do the Thieves Guild questline to the very end, a new member joins that allegedly was part of the Morag Tong, and he tells you that the Morag Tong is actually dissolved because of the eruption of the Red Mountain, so they don't even exist anymore. Although you might argue that that is not true, because when you join when you actually play the Dragonborn DLC, you get to see a lot of the Morag Tongs. And if you're interested in it, you should probably play Morrowind. There's just like there's the Dark Brotherhood questline in Oblivion and a Dark Brotherhood questline in Skyrim, there's actually a pretty big Morag Tong questline in Morrowind, in the Elder Scrolls Morrowind, that you can play as one of them, and you can do contracts as one of them. I'm not sure how it works, because I've played a lot of Morrowind, but I haven't actually done the Morag Tong questline, so I don't know exactly how that entails, how that plays out, but I know it's there, and you can play as them, which is pretty cool. We got a couple of questions here. Now that we got finally Markarth, and I should probably keep this quick because we're running out of time here. So, this is a very long question. Tings Tychondrus asks, You know how dragons are immortal and how their souls never leave Nirn and never enter Aetherius? Well, my question wasn't a Dragonborn. So, because it's a very long question, so I'll try and surmise it. He asks, if the Dragonborn has the soul of a dragon,
I'd rather spend the gold on a new litter of pups,
could
but the horses-
Alduin revive him? Does the soul... is the Dragonborn truly immortal? Because we know that dragons... When you kill a dragon, their soul doesn't leave the physical world of Nirn. They stay here, right? I mean, in this case, we absorb it, but if the Dragonborn were not there, their soul would simply remain in this world. It wouldn't go to the afterlife, and then Alduin could just come at any time and revive him. You know, this is the reason why you see Nordic ruins in this game being populated by Druggers and Dragon Priests. The reason they're doing that in the first place, the whole reason they created this whole system of the Druggers magically giving energy to the priest so that the priest would stay alive, the whole reason they did that in the first place was because the Dragon Priest did not want to die. If the Dragon Priest were to die, his soul would be sent to Aetherius, to anywhere, I don't know, to the afterlife, to maybe a Daedric realm, or maybe to anywhere in Aetherius. And if that were to happen, then he wouldn't serve Alduin when Alduin would return. So they designed this whole system to keep their bodies technically alive so that their souls wouldn't leave the physical realm, right? So the question is, well, we know that Alduin can revive dragons because they have dragon souls, and the souls remain in this world. Well, the Dragonborn has a dragon soul. Could Alduin revive the Dragonborn if the Dragonborn were to die? It's a very complicated question. We know that the Dragonborn would probably live way longer than a normal human. I would say the Dragonborn could easily live. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dragonborn would live 200 or 300 years. Just naturally. We know that it is very likely that his body will decay a lot slower, just simply having dragon blood. Which, by the way, the Dragonborn is more than just a dragon soul. He doesn't only have a dragon soul, he has dragon blood in it. Like, the blood in his veins is literal dragon blood. And we know from this game that having empowered blood actually has a lot of significance. I mean, the vampires are pretty much an example of that. Just getting sanguinaris vampiris pretty much makes you immortal. Like, you can live forever just by having vampire blood. So we know that it is possible for blood to make you immortal or to give you longer lasting life. Almost, I mean, and we know that some vampires, Hirana, for example, has lived for thousands of years. Her body looks like she's like 20 years old. So it completely stops decay, right? Now, we know that the dragon blood is probably not as strong as that. I don't think just being Dragonborn makes you live forever. I don't think so, at least. Maybe, but we don't know. But we know that blood can have those effects. So even if we don't have a dragon body, I think it is very likely, actually, thanks Tychondrius, that Alduin could indeed revive us. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be overjoyed, but I wouldn't be surprised if 3 games from now in Elder Scrolls 8, Alduin finally comes back again, which is totally possible, and he revives the Dragonborn to fight for him. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised at all. That would be amazing. And of course, we know that we know that from the past Elder Scrolls, Bethesda likes to make the heroes immortal. We know that the Nerevarine is immortal. He can never die because of the plague and the way his system works. He contracted the plague by... Oh, we don't have to get into that. I already made a video on that, but he's immortal. We know that the Oblivion character became Shoggorath, so he's also immortal. So it would be not crazy to think that our character here is also immortal, right? So, yeah, to answer your question, Tinks, I think so. I think it is very likely that Alduin could revive us. If we were to die, our body would probably become Draugr-like very slowly. Very, very slowly. And when we were to be revived, it is very likely that our body would regain its composure, its texture, and its youngness, I would say. But I still think that they die, because we know for a fact that there's a lot of Dragonborns in this world that never get to know that they're Dragonborns. You know, they say that Dragonborns are born once a century, or no, once in a generation, I think is what they say. That they're very, very rare, but not that rare. You know, that there's probably a lot of Dragonborns that never even got to know that they were Dragonborns. But if they were freaking immortal, then we would know, right? So they probably do die, they just age very, very slowly. I don't know, it's a very good question, Takes. I appreciate it. There's nothing else that I want to do in this video. I want to continue the Brotherhood quest line on the next episode, but I guess we can see this person getting killed. I never save her.
Bit of jewelry for your journey home.
Hey, watch it.
I honestly never save her, but might as well just do it now. I mean, my computer's running like crap. Like crap, man.
No more! I yield!
No yielding in Skyrim, bitch.
For my people.
Now let's gonna get the card.
The Markarth city go under control. There are no Forsworn here.
Gods. A woman attacked right on the streets. Are you alright? Did you see what happened? I'm so sorry. I hope the Eight give you more peace in the future. Oh, I think you dropped this. Some kind of note. Looks important.
Now this is the major quest line that we will deal with in the future. We don't have to worry about this. He's a member, obviously, of the Forsworn. There's a lot of Forsworn that have infiltrated Markarth, and it'll eventually end up in a major quest line that will deal with a little civil war here in the city. But as I said, we don't have to worry too much about it as of yet. Super Eden asks, the Khajiit has a... Oh, this is referring to the beginning of the Dark Brotherhood contract questline, where you get to choose who you want to kill in the shack. Super Eden says, the Khajiit has the contract. If you use clairvoyance, it points to him. And also, you don't need to wait 24 hours to get kidnapped. Okay, yeah. A lot of people have been saying that too. But, to answer that, and Peter Peterson says, none of the captives have a contract on them. Astrid is the one who has a contract on her. When you kill her, she will say, well done, implying that you chose correctly. Now, that is a pretty cool idea. I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, obviously, I can't really say. It's all conjecture. It's all just, you know. But that's probably has a lot of merit to it, because it is very likely that she probably has a contract on her. But to answer Super Edding's question, actually, that's not true. If you use clairvoyance, it is random. Whoever the clairvoyance points at, it's decided randomly between the people. What you have to do, I think, it's you reload the save and try clairvoyance again, and you'll see that it'll point to someone else. And if you don't believe me and you're too lazy to try it out, just look at the comments on the last episode. You will see that there's actually a couple of people that have actually told me the same thing, like, hey, Rhexx, no, if you use clairvoyance, it'll show you who it is. You'll actually find that different people have different answers to it. You will say, like Super Edding here is saying that clairvoyance points at the Khajiit. Well, if you look at the comments, a lot of other people have been saying that the clairvoyance aims at others. So you will see that it's random, and it is random. And you can look at the wiki and USP. It'll tell you that it is random.
Poor children must be hot.
And the last question is by Lord Serpent. He asks, hey, you mentioned that the Daedra didn't use the brass tower because they didn't know where it was, and they weren't all knowing. But wouldn't a deity such as Hermios Mora be able to perceive the location of the medium? No. Just to quickly answer your question, no. No Daedra is omnipresent or omniscient. The only one that seemed to possess that power was Gigalag. Gigalag was the only Daedra that seemed to possess something similar to being omniscient. He wasn't truly omniscient. He just had the power of prediction based on events that were unfolding in the universe. He could sense patterns, and he was so good at it that he could almost see the future. That's why the Daedras cursed him, and, well, I guess in all essences almost killed him, because he was so powerful that he posed a threat to the other Daedras. But he was the only one that could even reach that level of power. No, Hermios Mora cannot see into the future. He cannot perceive anything. He does not necessarily have any more power than any other Daedra. He just really likes secrets, you know? But he doesn't know things that people don't tell him, right? He's not omniscient. You have to tell him a secret for him to know that secret. And the only people that knew where the brass tower was the tribunal, which, by the way, were also gods. Which it is safe to assume that they probably had abilities that would shield Daedrus from completely, you know, walking in and looking at the brass tower, you know. Like, these are demigods, so no, Hermaeus Mora had no clue. He probably did not. And even if he did, he wouldn't... It is very unlikely that he would just tell the other Daedrus. There's like a constant power struggle between the Daedrus, and Hermaeus Mora wouldn't give other Daedrus more power by telling them something that powerful would be hidden in any specific place. But, anyways, guys, I hope you'll enjoy the video. I'm sorry. It's running at 30 frames. I don't know, man. I'll try and fix it now that I erased everything. I gotta get back to... Gotta get the settings back to working order. I'm sorry. I just really want to get this video out for you guys because it bothers me to not have a video out in a couple of weeks, man. People keep asking for it. So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but we'll get back on schedule. Love you guys. See you all next time. Bye-bye.